In this brief lecture file, we'll look at some of the major of ArcGIS. We'll start out by looking at several of the main functions on a typical ArcMap window. So this is how the main interface will typically look when you start it up on your computer. The main menu functions, File, Edit, View, Bookmarks, Insert, and so on, are located up along the top of the screen. Those are typical drop-down menus where you would expect to find many of the functions organized in that area. The table of contents shows you the layers that are available on the map document you're working on, and there's more information than that you'll learn about as you go through the course. The Tools toolbar has many of the navigation functions you need: zoom in, zoom out, the pan button. The little globe is a zoom to full extent button. The blue arrow is a zoom to previous extent button. There's some selection functions next to that. And then the index arrow, which you can use to prevent yourself from zooming the map in or out when you're moving around and looking at things. The identify tool, which allows you to then identify data about particular features or points or lines or polygons on this map, and that would bring up information about it, such as the example here in the identify results window. This shows you that someone has clicked the identify window on a particular polygon, and this particular one is from the state layer. So this shows you information about Texas. It's a polygon. What is its ID, its state name, and so on, and it's shown there in the Identify Results button. The Map Document window is the main window where the mapping itself takes place, and then the standard toolbar is up along the top below the main menu, and that includes your typical shortcuts to save, open files, get to the print menu, and access some of the different toolbars as well. Map documents carry the .mxd extension. The important thing to remember about map documents is that you're not actually saving the geographic data itself when you save a map document. What you're saving are the layer colors and the symbology, the things like the title on the map, and the format as far as the order and presence of various mapping layers and in the data you're putting into a particular map document. But again, you're not actually saving the base map data when you save a map document itself. So the way it's organized is that you'll find in the tutorial data for your project, you have, for example, tutorial 1.1, and when you open that up, it will include the appropriate data that you need in order to function within that map. But ArcGIS and ArcMap are pulling in. In this example, we can see a map configuration with two layers, and so you'll see something like this when you get into tutorial 1.1, where you have U.S. cities that are that's point data, and that's shown as a red point in your table of contents, and below that U.S. states in the table of contents, and you know it's a polygon because it has that little rectangle. Then you can add separate files by going through the add data function. The little tool that has a diamond-shaped yellow background with a big plus on it is the add data area. And one of the critical things you do when you add map layers is you need to be aware of where the data are actually coming from so that you can then connect to those particular storage folders and bring the data in as you need to. So in this example, we're hooked up to a particular folder that includes some geodatabases. Those are the little containers that look like cylinders. For example, the 3danalyst.gdb or Allegheny County.gdb. These are examples of geodatabases when they carry the GDB extension. So notice those are not map documents, but those are data sources. And then when you get into a particular geodatabase, in this example, the United States, you can see various layers that have been put into that area, and they're designated with the little icon next to them as being either point line or polygon type data. A geodatabase is the container that's used to hold a collection of data sets that are related in some ways. And one of the powerful things about a geodatabase storage format is that it helps you organize your data and organize the data in a way that the map layers can be displayed on top of one another with a minimal amount of trouble related to dealing with map projections. We then can organize data within those geodatabases and in a file folder system overall within a tool called ARC Catalog. And ARC Catalog allows us to arrange and manage geographic information in workspace folders and databases, and to interact with, preview, look at the characteristics of, edit, and make changes to data to a limited extent, but you can still do certain things like copying, pasting, and then importing and exporting data from a geodatabase, and so on. It's highly recommended that you get used to using ARC Catalog instead of Windows Explorer to move files around when you're working in GIS. In fact, you'll find in Windows Explorer that geodatabases don't function within that environment for you to be able to get down and view the individual map layers. And finally, ARC Toolbox. ARC Toolbox includes advanced analytical and other tools you need to be able to do GIS functions. So, for example, working in 3D analysis, cartography tools, conversion of file formats, data management, geocoding, geostatistical analysis, linear referencing, network analysis, spatial analysis, and spatial statistics are all different tools within the ARC Toolbox. And that concludes the lecture for part 3 of Chapter 1.